Let's face it, investing in real estate, particularly in North America in 2024, might not be the brightest idea. However, there's something happening in the real estate market that almost no one is talking about, where you can get a lot higher returns because you're going to base this on some evolvement in the society. And no, I am not talking about tiny houses, even if it could be a good opportunity. Because to make a good investment in real estate and everywhere else, you have to understand first the change in the society based on data. By the way, welcome on Handsome Finance, where we study our investment decisions with data. So we let the data taking the decisions for us, and that can lead to better investments. For example, it's well known that the younger generation is now doing more and more freelancing because they want to gain some freedom and to have also less security. Yes, the opportunity that we will see is correlated to freelancing, but actually, do they really make money, those freelancers? Or they just bother us in the cafe with their laptop, tippy-tappy like this, with their expensive latte, and ruining our mood to be able to just relax and have a nice conversation on a date? Well, if we check the numbers of Upwork, which is probably the biggest platform for freelancing job, it's growing at a fast pace, almost and more than 20% every year. And no, the real estate opportunity we are going to talk about today is not co-working. It's actually pretty hard to be profitable with co-working spaces, and we haven't seen many that make a bank with it. And we want to make a bank, right? And that's why I want to talk about something that happened to me just a year ago. I wanted to go to Taiwan, Taipei, for just 2 months, but I couldn't find any apartments that wanted to rent to me for just 2 months, which I can understand because for the landlords, it creates kind of a lot of friction. They have to sign some papers, they have to make me visit. And of course, I offer to pay more. But do they really want more money, or they just want a steady flow of income? Usually, when you do real estate, you want some long-term things. Otherwise, if you want to go more on maximizing your returns, you would go with Airbnb and things like that. And your hobby would be to cancel reservations on people. That's where you could get more money. I could have stayed in a hotel or apartment hotel, agree. But if you check Taipei, the offers of hotels is disgusting. It's really expensive and it's old. So I decided to try something that I did try ages ago in Bali, which is a co-living. And to my surprise, few co-livings were available in Taipei. However, every time I contacted them, it was full. I managed to find one room. And this is where it started to make me really curious and want to dig in more. So I checked the Google Trends, which tells me how many times people are searching for certain terms on Google. And I can see that the interest for co-living more than doubled in just 2 years. Can you imagine that? In real estate, that would mean kind of the demand for one city doubled in just 2 years. That would be a massive opportunity, right? Because we talked about freelancers, but it's not only freelancers who use co-living. That's what you would also if you just do some online research and don't actually visit some co-living or contact them. What happened is that they have tons of different kind of people that goes in. Some people that just started a new job, they're going into the city. They don't have time to find a new apartment and can be really expensive. For example, Taiwan, it's really expensive for local people to live in the city. Secondly, exchange students. They just come for 6 months. Maybe they do an internship as well. That's another class of people. And then people who are lost in their life, who just want to learn a new language. They go somewhere for 6 months. They need to find an excuses. So they say, oh, I'm going to learn to speak Mandarin. 但是我们知道这不是真的原因. And I don't want to be a fool just checking at one location. When you check the interest by region, we have Singapore that is big, Spain, Luxembourg, Lithuania. Uruguay is a bit of a weird one. I think that's where they had the spike here, but I saw they have a co-living there. I even found a video about it, which scores almost 3,000 views. It's pretty good for a piece of real estate, right? And you can see we have the co-living area here, probably where they can do their co-working. But what surprised me is that co-living is normally cost efficient, which means it would cost you less to rent it than to rent your own place. Plus, you will have a better time spent to get more bucks for the number of hours you spend in, because sometimes we rent a place and we just stay 8 hours to 10 hours in it. Then we go work in an office and an apartment is just empty all day and it's not really useful. So that's what they're trying to fix here with co-living, which is just not a co-working. But then you can get the freelancers and people who work online. They sleep, they go upstairs, they do their work, and then they do what the fuck they want. But we know that they try to not pay tax, which we can understand. But is it very cost efficient? Well, I checked, for example, in Chiang Mai, which is a city at the north of Thailand. It's a pretty cheap city in Thailand. You can see first, they have max occupancy now. You can only rent in 21 days or even next month. But the price start is 30,000 baht. A house can cost 20,000 baht. A condo in the center of the city can cost you between 20 to 25,000 baht. A small room, 17 square meters, for 32,000 baht per month. Now, maybe, of course, if you rent it for a few months, they're going to maybe make it a little bit cheaper, but it's actually not, because they don't care about that. It's someone who is probably paid, I don't know, 3,000 to 5,000 USD per month by a company, and they tell him you have X budget you can spend on co-living or living expenses, and they just, yeah, okay, I'm just gonna spend on this. It's easy, it's no commitment. Because let's face it, our generation and the younger generation, what they don't want is commitment. And I'm not just telling some fugazi here. You can check on the data that actually dating apps change dramatically the way we meet in the society. And of course, how long we stay in couple. Now we have two interesting points for the co-living opportunity. But we need a third one to be sure. First is that it's not only freelancers who use it. Other classes of people need it. Second is that it's not sold cheaper than renting another place sometimes. And the third thing is this documentary that I saw. Co-living spaces high in demand in rental market, driving occupancy rates beyond 95%. Now you let me know in the comments if you know something that drives a better occupancy, except jails, of course. In Europe, yes. If we remove jails, what kind of other real estates going to offer you an occupancy rate of 95%? I mean, even a shared bedroom with 4 bedrooms is not available. It's crazy, and people love it. Plus, it's also big in India with, for example, flat co-living that have tons of different locations now, and you can actually check here for different co-living spaces in all of those cities. And we know one thing about India: never underestimate them. And they are also more advanced than we think in tons of different areas. Now, the big question is, how can someone invest in co-living? For example, me, I want to build a co-living that's only for handsome people. Actually, this kind of exists. Usually models that go abroad, for example, in Taiwan, I knew some, then the model agency will just put them all in an apartment together. And if you want to know a crazy story, in those apartments, they only put plastic knives to be sure that the models don't try to cut themselves, which is mental. But can you imagine if you put a lot of really emotional people in the same place? They would go crazy. Now, that's a good Mr. Beast video. I survived 1 month in an apartment full of models that have depression. I would watch it. But seriously, co-livings, I'm not going to ask you to build your own. Or maybe you're going to build your own. Then you should contact me because I might be interested to invest. No, but what I would do now is contact all of those places in all the location that I selected and ask them, like, when are you planning to build a new one? We may be interested to invest. And why I say we is because I will back myself up with the investors board. So like this, instead of just being one guy doing his own research and stuff like that, it will be a group of people. And it's also better for the real estate or the person that will present us the project, because instead of having one investor, have like 10 or 20 different investors and have a large sum of money. I think that's the way to go. And that's why it's one of my goals to dig in this investment this year. And maybe if I have a chance to invest in it. And of course, there is the crypto market that is going to be really interesting, but you have to put your gain somewhere else at some point. And that's why you should check this video to actually make a lot of gains in crypto. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Put a thumbs up if you liked it. Tell me in the comment if you have any questions. You have to remember one thing: stay handsome. Ciao.